Hello, everybody. I'm John Felt. This is the weekly Water Outlook briefing recorded on February 10th, 2013. Well, we've seen this pattern now for quite some time, where the west is dry, the east is a bit wetter. And I know that's based on climatology. The west is usually very dry this time of year. But I did want to mention one distinction I think I've seen over the last couple weeks is that earlier this winter, it was pretty much east of this line here over the eastern parts of Oklahoma and Texas, Oklahoma and Texas and Kansas, actually. It looks like it's pushing more into the central part of the state more recently, and I think that trend is likely to continue. I still think the far west is going to stay dry, but I do want to mention over the last 7 days, a bit more rainfall over the central part of the state of Texas and Oklahoma. Now, if we look at percent of normal rainfall, you can see even though there was increased rainfall, it was fairly scattered with still some areas of below normal rainfall, and that's at yellow and red, very close to above normal rainfall. Western parts of Texas, far west Oklahoma, southwest Kansas remain very, very dry with percent of normal rainfall over the last week well below normal, 25% or less. Now, I'm sure you've heard about the big blizzard event in the northeast U.S. I wanted to point out a little bit about where it occurred, and you can see in the area of the pink shades here, that's the soil or snow moisture content. Very heavy, wet snow in that region. You can see the coverage across the nation here and the snow depth, and no snow over the south and the Texas region, but that might be changing this week. There is going to be a bit of snow over northwest Texas as well as Oklahoma over this upcoming week. This is the snow that fell across the nation, accumulations over the last week. The maroon are the lighter amounts, and then the yellows and the greens are the moderate amounts, and the blue over the northeast U.S. that received the blizzard, that's the heavier amount. Now, the Arctic Oscillation that I've talked about quite a bit in winter, I wanted to point out that we've been in this positive phase for a while. We're in sort of a neutral phase now, and what's unusual about this is for most of the winter, we've been in this negative phase, probably 80 to 90% of the winter. We've been in a positive phase recently, but really we haven't been in neutral. We've been alternating back and forth. It does look now for the next week sort of neutral, and then after that it's a little bit of guess one way or the other where it's going to go. It might go back positive. Most of the models are showing that. But I think right now we're in this neutral, and we haven't really seen that throughout the winter, more of a neutral type pattern. As far as soil moisture anomalies go, green would be areas that have wetter soils, and red or drier soils. And even though it's a bit wetter over eastern parts of Arkansas and western part of Louisiana, most of, almost all of Texas, all of Oklahoma, almost all of Kansas are showing well below normal soil moisture for this time of the year, and we can definitely use some rain or snow across the entire region. So here's the big picture for the upcoming week. Blue is the jet stream early this week, yellow is the jet stream late this week, and what we're going to be doing is carving out a trough of low pressure over the eastern U.S. with pockets of energy rotating into that region. Now, these pockets of energy are basically be interacting with moisture in a frontal boundary to the east of our area. So the heaviest rain is going to be, once again, just originating over parts of Louisiana and Arkansas, and then mainly firing up further to the east. Now, parts of Texas, northwest Texas, and western Oklahoma will be in the colder air, and that could produce some snow as we go through the week. In fact, here you can see the rainfall forecast this week, and this area here could come in the form of snow. I think it'll be mixed. Some of the area will have rain, some of it will have snow, but if it is cold enough, this could be a significant snow. You can look at heaviest rain is definitely well to the east, but again, like I mentioned, this trend of more modest rain, this is this medium green here, that's about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. Nothing to get all that excited about, but it's better than nothing, and I think this time of year we really should use any opportunity to recharge these soils as we go through winter into early spring. So hopefully we'll get another half inch or so in the central part of Texas, and more widespread rain or snow over Oklahoma. Now the changes in soil moisture over the next 2 weeks as we get into the middle part of the month, it's going to be modest one way or the other. Now in the southeast U.S. you can see a darker shade of blue, and that's more of a positive increase in soil moisture, but at least we're seeing some pluses here. These are some lighter shades of blue in most of Oklahoma, lighter shades of blue in north and east Texas. Not as much in Kansas. It looks pretty dry, but it looks like at least we're going on the positive side over this region here, so some improvement in soil moisture over the next 2 weeks. In fact, this is the model output for week 1 on the top and week 2 on the bottom. And this is what I'm sort of talking about as far as that trend of more modest rainfall. This is week 2, and you can see that this green here is a modest rainfall, and I guess generally up to about an inch or so. And that does cover most of Oklahoma, a large part of Texas. So we're not necessarily seeing big changes, but I think we are seeing some improvement of the possibility of modest rainfall and improvements in soil moisture, mainly over the east or the central and the eastern part of the region. So the trends and threats here, basically the brown are the very dry soils. I don't really want to call this a trend yet. I do have a trend over the southeast U.S. in green, but there will be some, as far as snow goes, that's that area in blue, and there will be some modest rain. So in this area here of dry soils, there will be an improvement in soil moisture in this region here due to rain, and then this region here due to snow. So when we look at the big picture here, there could be some improvement in this area right here due to precipitation, and then further off to the east, definitely this entire area here, more significant rainfall. So the takeaway points from today's briefing: some rain, some snow, Oklahoma and northwest Texas, modest rain elsewhere that'll continue on and off next week as well, several days, and this trend towards perhaps a bit more action over central Texas for rainfall. As it has been confined to the east, it might be shaping up a little bit more in the central part of the state. So as we go through February and we get towards March, things start to get a lot more active and interesting. I will keep you up to date through a midweek briefing, and I will be updating the weekly water outlook again next Sunday. Of course, remember, at any time, if you have any questions, I love to hear from you all. Just be sure to send me an email with any of your questions, or if you have something you'd like me to answer, I'm not explaining in enough detail, you can reach me at john@bluewateroutlook.com. Thank you for listening.